It's 6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Sound Tavam. Inflation decreases to 61% last month. Measures underway to make Batticaloa one of the best tourist destinations in 2023. The World Bank assures continuous support to Sri Lanka. The world marks AIDS Day today. In foreign news, former Chinese leader Jiang Zemin dies aged 96. And in sports, Sri Lanka beat Afghanistan in the third ODI to level the series 1-1. The Department of Census and Statistics reported that Sri Lanka's inflation, as measured by the change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index, declined to 61% in November 2022 from 66% in October 2022. The CCPI for all items for the month of November 2022 decreased to 242.6 from 243.8 in October 2022. The year-on-year inflation of food decreased to 73.7% in November from 85.6% in October 2022, and the year-on-year inflation of non-food group also decreased to 54.5% in November 2022 from 56.3% in the previous month. The future activities of the Sir John Kothawala Defence University Hospital came under discussion at a meeting chaired by President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's office yesterday. The hospital's plan, infrastructure and the prevailing issues, including a shortage of human resources and financial difficulties, were discussed at length. Stressing the need for a productive use of the resources available, the President maintained that the hospital should resolve its issues swiftly and function effectively. Another discussion was held to identify land for the promotion of the tourism industry in the Batticaloa district. Accordingly, the identification of coastal lands which belong to the government and private sector from Verigal Aru to Batticaloa in the Batticaloa district was taken up for discussion. The aim of this is to develop the area as a tourist zone and make Batticaloa one of the best tourist destinations in 2023. Several divisional secretaries, including the Batticaloa District Secretary K. Karunaharan, joined this discussion through Zoom. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena held discussions with the World Bank Country Director Chio Kanda and senior strategy and operations officials about the progress of the ongoing projects and proposed future projects, the Prime Minister's office said. The Prime Minister briefed the delegation about the steps taken by the government to overcome economic challenges and said the new reforms would result in early conclusion of monetary arrangements with the International Monetary Fund. The World Bank Country Director expressed satisfaction over the short-term measures to ease the economic situation and stressed the need for continuous mid-term and long-term efforts. She assured continuous support to Sri Lanka. They exchanged views on the new reforms, including monetary and fiscal reforms, which will soon see passage through the Cabinet and Parliament to pull the country out of its current economic crisis. You're listening to the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Lanka Satos has further reduced the prices of 4 essential consumer items. Satos also says that this discounted price will be effective from today in all countrywide Satos outlets. Accordingly, the price of a kilo of red chilies will be reduced by 6 rupees to 199 rupees, and the price of a kilo of kiri samba will be reduced by 15 rupees to 225 rupees. Satosa further said that the price of a kilo of big onions will be reduced by 30 rupees to 225 rupees, and a kilo of dried spreads will be reduced by 150 rupees to 1,150 rupees. The Cabinet has approved increasing electricity tariffs under 2 steps in January and June 2023 to cover the current losses of the Ceylon Electricity Board. This was disclosed at the meeting of the subcommittee on identifying the short and medium-term programs related to economic stabilization of the National Council, held under the chairmanship of MP Patala Champika Ranawaka recently. According to a statement by the Parliament of Sri Lanka, Electricity Board representatives stated during the meeting that electricity tariffs should be increased by about 70% in order to cover the current loss. The Additional General Manager of the Electricity Board, Rohan Seniviratna, said accordingly, the relevant measures are to be taken for the purpose of obtaining approval of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka. It was also disclosed that the Ceylon Electricity Board currently owes nearly 650 billion rupees as loans to various parties, including banks and electricity suppliers. Meanwhile, the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has refuted reports pertaining to a possible hike in electricity tariffs. Issuing a statement, the PUCSL chairman Janaka Ratnayaka said that no electricity tariff hike is being considered at present. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The World AIDS Day is marked today. The theme for 2022 is Equalize. World AIDS Day was first observed in 1988. Each year, organizations and individuals across the world bring attention to the HIV epidemic, endeavor to increase HIV awareness and knowledge, speak out against the HIV stigma, and call for an increased response to move toward ending the HIV epidemic. Approximately 38 million individuals globally carry the HIV virus. Among the most devastating pandemics in history, despite the virus only being discovered in 1984, it has claimed the lives of almost 35 million people and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
Experts have warned severe health issues as the air quality level in Colombo has worsened in recent days. The reading of the dynamic air quality map issued by the National Building Research Organization suggests the air quality in Battaramulla is at a very unhealthy level. At 5:45 a.m., Battaramulla recorded a numerical value of 108, which exceeds even the very unhealthy level. The purple alert, which indicates the air quality is at a very unhealthy level, is issued when the numerical level is between 70 and 87. Meanwhile, the air quality in Puttalam, Bavunia and Mana has also worsened and is at very unhealthy levels. According to experts, the increase in the level of air pollution in Sri Lanka is reported to have been caused by the air pollution in India and came to you in Watchlight.
Celebrate Christmas and New Year with lots of CIB discounts. Valuable gifts with bank discounts till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Making headlines this morning, former Chinese leader Jiang Zemin dies aged 96. Unrest continues in Guangzhou in China as lockdown anger grows. And students killed as bomb blast hits Afghan school. China's former leader Jiang Zemin, who came to power after the Tiananmen Square protests, has died at 96. State media said he had died just after 12 local time in Shanghai yesterday. Jiang presided over a time when China opened up a vast scale and saw high-speed growth. His death comes as China sees some of its most serious protests since Tiananmen, with many demonstrating against COVID restrictions. A Chinese Communist Party statement said he died of leukemia and multi-organ failure. It added that he was recognized as an outstanding leader with high prestige and a long-tested communist fighter. People in the southern Chinese city of Guangzhou have clashed with police overnight in the latest protest against the country's strict COVID rules. Footage online showed the police in white hazmat suits, including riot shields to protect themselves from debris and glass thrown at them by protesters. Another video showed people being taken away in handcuffs. On Wednesday, city officials said COVID restrictions would be relaxed in several districts. China has seen record number of new cases in recent days. According to posts on social media, the protest took place late on Tuesday and into the early hours on Wednesday in the district of Haizu. One Guangzhou resident told the news agency AFP that he saw around 100 police officers converge on Haijoa village in Haizu and arrest at least 3 men. Haizu was also on the scene of angry COVID protests earlier this month. At least 17 people have been killed and 26 injured after a bomb blast hit a religious school in northern Afghanistan. The blast took place in the city of Aibak in Samangan province reportedly as people were leaving prayers. The majority of those killed are believed to be children aged 9 to 15, a source in Samangan told the BBC. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack and the death toll could increase. A doctor at the local hospital said most of the victims were students at the school. And back to the headlines of the world news. Former Chinese leader Jiang Zemin dies, aged 96. Unrest continues in Guangzhou in China as lockdown anger grows. And students killed as bomb blast hits Afghan school. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Listening, the trusted leader.
On to development news, the governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Nandalal Veerasinghe, says difficult steps have already been taken and therefore Sri Lanka's economic crisis is gradually easing at present. Speaking during an event in Colombo, the CBSL governor Veerasinghe said Sri Lanka must continue in the same direction in the face of the biggest economic crisis the country has faced in recent times. That's development news, and on to sports. Sri Lanka beat Afghanistan by 4 wickets in the third and final ODI in the current series. Afghanistan won the toss and chose to bat first. They scored 314 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. Their efforts bested Ibrahim Zadran's epic 162 off 138 balls, easily the highest ODI score by an Afghanistan batter. Kasan Rajitha took 3 wickets and Vanidu Hasranga took 2 wickets. In reply, Sri Lanka hit the target score in 49.4 overs with 2 balls remaining. Charit Asalanka scored an unbeaten 83 runs. Charit Asalanka was adjudged as the man of the match and Ibrahim Zadran as adjudged as the man of the series. With this win, the 3-match ODI series between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan levelled 1-1. That's sports news. We look at business news next.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest. An interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Elon Musk has said he and Apple boss Tim Cook have resolved the misunderstanding over Twitter possibly being removed from the App Store. On Monday, Mr. Musk accused Apple of threatening to cut the platform from its App Store and said it had halted most of its advertising on the site. But the Twitter boss tweeted on Wednesday that, quote, Tim was clear that Apple never considered doing so, unquote. He did not say if Apple's advertising was discussed at the meeting. The meeting between the two tech leaders comes as many companies have halted spending on Twitter amid concerns about Mr. Musk's content moderation plans for the site, a major blow to the company which relies on such spending for most of its revenue. That's business news. Economic news up next.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest. An interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
On to economic news. The HSBC says it will close 114 more branches in the UK from April, as customers using them have fallen significantly since the pandemic. The bank said it would try to redeploy affected staff, but about 100 will lose their jobs. Banks have closed thousands of branches in recent years as more people bank online and lenders cut costs. The HSBC said it would invest in updating its remaining 327 branches, but a union accused it of abandoning customers. And on to the weather report. There's a high possibility for afternoon thundershowers over the island and morning showers over the northern and eastern provinces from the 2nd of December. A few showers will occur in the northern and eastern provinces. Showers or thundershowers may occur at a few places in the Sabragama province and in the Galle and Matara districts during the afternoon or night. Misty conditions can be expected in the western, Sabragama and Uva provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts during the morning. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. Inflation decreases to 61% last month. Measures underway to make Batticaloa one of the best tourist destinations in 2023. The World Bank assures continuous support to Sri Lanka. The world marks AIDS Day today. Former Chinese leader Jiang Zemin dies, aged 96. And Sri Lanka beat Afghanistan in the third ODI to level the series 1-1. With that, we conclude this morning's news broadcast.